My name is Karla Mendes. I'm an investigative reporter from Mongabay. I'm based in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro.
I'm Philip Jacobson. I'm a journalist with Mongabay, based in Thailand. Our investigation looked at government purchases of shark meat in Brazil for public institutions like schools, hospitals, prisons. So I was writing about the shark fin trade in Asia, and as I did that reporting, I learned that the shark meat industry was also really big. And this was really surprising to me. I didn't know that shark meat was eaten or traded on a large scale at all.
I was really intrigued about what was behind that consumption of shark meat that's sold in Brazil under the name of cação. So people were eating it without knowing that's shark. And beyond that, the government is one of the biggest buyers.
As we were hearing about this from experts that we were interviewing, we got these anecdotes, but there was no database or study or report about how widespread these government purchases were.
And then immediately I thought, they're feeding poisoned meat to vulnerable population because in Brazil, who are depending on public schools, public nurseries, are people from lower income.
The other reason why this is important is because shark meat has a lot of heavy metals, and scientists generally recommend that vulnerable populations like young children, nursing mothers, pregnant mothers, not eat shark meat. Even healthy adults shouldn't eat too much of it. So if this is being served in schools, even in preschools, it could be maybe something dangerous.
The first step was really to find those public tenders, because then we had the idea to build a database to show who was buying. The most difficult and challenging part was to set up the database because we really didn't have it. We had to do it by our own and putting together all the pieces. And it still doesn't cover everything in Brazil. We have 26 states and the federal districts, we cover 10, and municipalities, there are more than 5,000. So there's a lot of work to be done.
So because these websites lacked advanced search functionality and were often like really archaic, hard to use, you couldn't search the word cação and find shark meat because it would bring up like an overwhelming number of false positives. So we had to figure out a different way to do it. We had to search other terms like fish, meat, other different terms too, and then use scraping to download huge numbers of results and sort of automate the process of searching these tender results for mentions of shark meat. Very complicated, very labor intensive.
To me, one of the most interesting things from this investigation was to realize how it is completely spread the lack of knowledge that cação is shark. I interviewed nutritionists who didn't know that it was shark meat. I interviewed a lawmaker in Brazil who is an environmentalist. He only knew that when an NGO who is battling against shark meat approached him. It was a system of wrong information regarding the shark meat consumption in Brazil because consumers are not receiving the right information. The authorities don't know, and the system is being endorsed by the government because the government is the one who dictates the norms on how a product must be identified in their packaging.
After we published the article in late July, a member of Brazil's national parliament called for a parliamentary hearing to discuss the findings. This same member of parliament has proposed banning federal procurements of shark meat. So that bill is currently in the parliamentary process. And then the NGO Sea Shepherd has also cited the findings in a lawsuit against the government where they too are trying to put a stop to public procurements of shark meat.
This investigation sheds a light on the hidden pieces of the food industry. And it really also dialogues with the food industry as a whole, because many times it's a black box. We are just eating, we don't know what we're eating, we don't know the levels of contamination from pesticides and other products the food industry is. So it really calls for more transparency, oversight from governments and the civil society about it.